Hello. Good evening to you, and you. You already know I'm Shawanna Kennedy, your Self First Strategist and mental wellness advocate. I am super excited. We are almost at the end of another amazing year. We know we've had ups, downs, ins, out, you name it, and everything in between. I am excited because I have an amazing guest that is hanging in the wings. She's waiting in the green room, if you call it that. She is waiting to come on. But before we get started, I want to make sure that I give you a chance to actually come on. Be sure to share this out because the information and the conversation that is going to be had this evening is going to be power packed and what? Full of information to do what? Help you be better at being you, right? I'm excited. God has been so good. He has just been a keeper. I have to say that he's been a keeper. We know that we are in this holiday season. It's so many things that are going on all around us, right? But we choose to count it all joy. I choose to believe that God makes all things work for our good. I choose to believe, as we get a choice, even if certain things are happening, we get a choice at how we allow it to truly impact our lives. So I'm just excited to be here tonight. Thank you for watching in advance. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for putting comments in the chat. Be sure because, yes, I have a corporate credit coach that is coming on. Any corporate question that you may have, please, ma'am, please, sir, share it out because I'm telling you, she's raw, she's real, and she is giving it to us straight from the hip. I need you to already even make sure you're sharing. Make sure you're sharing, drop those questions because she is going to be answering them as we move through this conversation. I'm excited. So, Shawanna Kennedy, your Self First Strategist, you already know that I cheer for you, but I challenge you to do what you need to do to make you a priority in your life. Never, never, never above your creator, not at all. I already understand and know that it is him that I live, move, and have my being. But it is certain things that God wants us to do, and he wants us to have a life more abundantly. And I don't think anything is wrong with that, right? I don't think anything is wrong with that at all. And so in an effort to bring guests to you that are full of value and full of quality and help you be better in your life, I get the chance to do that. And so I thank you for watching right now. Yeah, you. Yeah. Hey, be sure to say hi in the comments so when she comes on, so that she does not feel alone. We're here. You are here. I'm here. So let me get ready to bring Miss Quintaria Brunson to the platform. So get ready to say hi in the comments because she can watch and get those questions ready because I'm telling you, she's about to start firing off some stuff. So look, strap your seat in, get yourself something to drink, and get ready. I like to introduce to some and present to others Miss Quintaria Brunson. Let's say hello, Quintaria.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you.
How are you doing this evening?
I am doing fabulous. Like I have no complaints. I'm always excited about opportunities to share information, and I am ready to share information with you all tonight.
Yay, I'm excited. So, okay, now as we do it here in On Her Shift, I know some people be like, is Shawanna saying a cuss word? No. In order for you to put yourself first, right, you have to be okay to make the decision and then move to action to own some stuff, right? Mm-hmm. We have to own some stuff. So that means in order to be ready to make the transition to shift some stuff, right? That's me saying it nicely on tonight, right? This is not a Self First After Dark, right? We're going to still keep it clean on this side, right. So what about it with you, Miss Quintaria? Before we dig into all those questions that I know people have, I have a full, matter of fact, let me let the people see. I have a full list of questions that came in. Look, the people wasn't playing. They sent some questions in. Yeah, no, them for real. They're not made up at all. Those are questions that have come in. What is it for you that, if you don't mind sharing just a little bit, that caused the shift for you? We're talking about self first, right? Being mindful and things like that. So before we dig into what you do professionally, What happened to you personally that caused you to have to make and own your own shift?
Wow. Defeat. Back
Mm,
in 2014, like 2014 through 2016 were very transitional points in my life. And at that time, I was an entrepreneur. I had things going on. But what I realized is I was approaching 40, like about to turn 40 years old around that time. And I thought to myself, I want a life by design. I don't want a life where circumstances have happened to me and I'm just a victim, a product of whatever my circumstances have been. I've overcome things in my childhood and my young adulthood. But what I realize is that successful individuals, highly successful individuals, have a plotted, charted life. Like
mm,
they know exactly where they're going. Whereas many individuals, most of the individuals that I was around during that time, even my loved ones, my grandparents and aunts and people that I looked up to, they were kind of head down and working and moving each day, but they weren't looking up. They didn't have a clear direction and a clear trajectory. And I've always loved to plan. So I took the year of 2015 and I prayed and I meditated. I went out and met myself 20 years out. So it's my 2035 plan, right? What type of perfume do I wear in 2035? What business projects have I accomplished? What personal successes have I had? I literally met myself 20 years out, and then I walked myself back. And from that point on, I've charted a coordinates for my life. And you would be amazed at how many accomplishments that I have been able to check off the box, how many things that I've been able to do, even when I almost forget, like, oh, wow, like I did say I was going to do that and I've done it.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
was tired of defeat. I was tired of feeling like I was not in control of my own life. And for me, I'm a very authentic person. So that's why I always tell people, like, it is what it is with me. Like, like my pastor to my best friend to a childhood friend from school, it's Quintaria regardless. They
Yeah.
all know the same chick. But what I didn't want to have was a life that was not meeting the expectations that I had for myself, meeting the expectations and the divine gifts and talents that I had. Like, I wanted to share those things. And like I said, I was sick of defeat and I wanted to live intentionally. And that is what I'm doing now.
Wonderful. I love when you said, and being honest, and thank you for being transparent about
Mhm.
being defeated, right? Uh, and oftentimes it really does take that, but
Mhm.
a lot of people don't want to call it the thing, right? We know in order for us to fix certain things, we have got to give them a name.
Yes.
You can't fix what you don't put a title to, uh,
Mhm.
even if it's something within you or you are actually, reaching your arms out to get the help that you need.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for doing that, for recognizing that.
Yeah.
Now at that, because you said you went back to 2015.
Mhm.
So I believe we had our conversations. You're a mom, but has that during that time, because see, some mothers is watching, right?
Mm.
Not only some wives and yeah, entrepreneurs, and but where was the time when you really didn't, before it got to that place, that you didn't make yourself even a priority? Because that's the whole thing about putting yourself
Oh,
first.
wow.
It talks about certain struggles and neglect, right? Where is the time in your life that you could be honest, honest with us, and just say, where you really was not, you did not make yourself a priority? Because we know we're nurturers. We are.
Yeah.
We're helping everybody but ourselves. If you could share that a little bit for me.
That is a constant struggle. all,
Mm,
all of Before I even had children, I put others first. I'm a fixer. I'm a strategist. I had a chaotic household as a child. I was putting out fights and fires amongst adults at 4, 5, 6 years old.
Mm.
So I learned to calm the areas around me, and that taught me a bad habit of putting myself last. So in all honesty, that is something that I work on daily. I have a prayer that I put right on the ceiling above my head in my bedroom, so that before I go to bed and when I wake up, I remind myself, one, to be grateful, to live a life of gratitude, but two, to be open to the blessings and to be able to receive. That is a challenge for me. So I don't even have a particular time frame, because I could go on and on with circumstances throughout myself
Wow.
where I didn't put myself first. But I thank God that I have learned that I need to learn. I'm teaching myself still how to receive, because I'm a giver. I'm a giver. I have so much knowledge, and I'm excited about giving. I'm excited about sharing. And for a while, for more time than I even want to admit, if someone gave me anything, even a compliment, it was hard for me to receive it. So I have
Why?
been,
Why?
I
Why?
think, like I said, I think I just learned to put fires out and to calm the world around me. And no one really taught me how to love on myself, how to notice myself, or to appreciate myself in that way. And not that I didn't get compliments along the way, but
Right.
getting compliments and that not being directly synced to your self-confidence or synced to
Hmm.
your self-value. Sometimes you have to go back and relearn that. And I had
Yeah.
to learn that as an adult, abandonment issues from growing up without a father and things of that nature. Like, I had to face those demons that were chasing me around and say, especially once I became a mom, and I said, you may have
Yeah.
chased my grandmother around, you may have chased her mother around, you may have chased my mother around, but it stops now. And you've got to turn and, like you said, identify those things
Yes.
that we're not excited about, those dark places that, you really don't want the spotlight there. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you have to put your pain on Front Street, but you got to deal with it within you. And the more I learn to deal with Quintaria, to love on Quintaria, to, like I said, just to authentically accept who I am, it shines through. Like, I'm not even faking this. Like, it really does allow me to become the best version of myself. So that, again, learning to put myself first is a day-to-day journey for me, because that doesn't naturally happen for me.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, is it an awesome experience as I'm growing into that more and more each day.
Thank you. And I really, really, really do appreciate the vulnerability. And in the fact that you even said that you still struggle with that, or it's a challenge even now.
Mhm.
Uh, because for me to operate in the way that I do right now, I say a couple things, by choice or by force. And so at this stage, for me, me being in the other club, right? I'm proud of my age, right? So being in that other club, it's like uh, certain things become hazardous to your health, right?
Mhm.
It's not always the danger from outside forces or people, but the things that we allow even in here. So I have become a protector of my peace.
Mm.
And that's one thing that allows me to stay at the top of my list. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have learned how to. I love my mom, and she probably gonna log on between by the time she's gonna jump in somewhere. But even with my family and my siblings, and being married and having adult children and a minor child, it's where we have to be okay to know where we need to position ourselves so we can be of the greater for everybody. And oftentimes that and it's like the retraining of the brain, because like you just said, you've been a fixer. I heard you say since between what 4 and 6 years old, you've
Oh
been a
yeah.
fixer.
Oh
So
yeah.
being a
Like
fixer
the
between four and
grown
six
people, the good and grown people, like the
for grown
grandparents, and
people.
yeah.
So that's all you knew.
Yep,
That's
that
all
is.
you knew, which
But I love
means
that you said peace, though, because that has always been my goal. Like,
yeah,
I learned how to find peace in the middle of chaos. And growing up in stormy situations like that, it doesn't always allow you the space and place and the grace to work
Yeah.
on other things as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I feel you. I feel you. I get you. Because probably during those times when you were being a fixer, I was probably trying to hide, during because of certain childhood things that was occurring. So I was probably in hiding while you were trying to fix things. So uh, I get you, and I appreciate your vulnerability. But part of even tonight, again, if you are watching, I am and have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Quintaria Brunson. So go ahead and share this out with someone. I appreciate and I thank you in advance because we're getting ready to get into some of the stuff. While you already saw the post, you already know what it is this young lady do, a part of it, right? We're getting ready to get into some of that juicy corporate credit stuff. But I wanted you to, I just needed to take the time for us to get to know a little bit about the woman behind the brains and the CEO of her empire, right? Because this woman brings with her almost, I believe, if I'm correct, she just celebrated over 18 years of doing part of the things that she gets to do because it's something
Mhm.
that she loves. She helps to find people new homes and things like that, but she also helps to build your corporate credit, not the personal credit. So these questions, that's not what's being addressed tonight. We're talking about for the people who may already be into some situations and you may still have some stuff to say, oh, I didn't quite get that right. She actually has an answer for even that. She has the answer for people who are saying, you know what, I'm considering it, but I really don't know what should my first steps be. Yeah, I already said it. She's a corporate coach. So of course, at some point, you will get her information so that you can, beyond this program, that you can then reach out to her and get that and have that conversation, that coffee and conversation with her, so that you can do some things in this coming year to go ahead in 2022. You can be a better you. How about that? In 2022, you can become a better you and really get some things off. You know that you are already pregnant with some things, right? And it's time for you to birth them. So before you sign some papers or hit that, this may be the place of the conversation that you need to hear to then say, I am on the right track, or I'm glad that I waited for a moment, because she may address something that you're saying, I'm glad I tuned in. So right now we're getting ready to jump in and we're about to see. We talked to the mom, we did all of that. We did all of that personal stuff, right? Because now I want her to switch hats and I want her to get ready because she stayed ready. So it ain't
Oh,
about
I'm
getting ready.
ready.
And you see that? Look, she even rubbed her hands for us
I'm
tonight,
ready.
y'all. She rubbed her hands. So go ahead in the comments and just say hello to let us know that you are there so I can let her know, because as you can see, we're in a recording studio. So some of the things she can't see, but I want to let her know that you're out there. Go out and say, hey, Quintaria, or say, hey, Miss Q, right? If you can't pronounce the name, say, hey, Miss Q. Let her know that you are here. Put those questions in the comments. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. First question, because I got a lot of questions. And let's start this. Let's get this party jumping off with the first question.
Already.
What is the paperwork that you need when it's time for you to file for your corporate credit? What is the paperwork that you need when it's time to file for your corporate credit?
See, herein lies the circumstance. I won't even say the problem. The sheer fact that someone is saying, what is the paperwork? Corporate credit is not linear. It's not like it is a very comprehensive approach to credit. It is not, I say this time and time again, it is not consumer credit or personal credit. Things that are attached to your social security number. So there is no one paper that you necessarily need, like do step A and then step B and then step C. It is a process, but for the one thing that I would like to tell budding business owners and existing business owners is that building corporate credit is a comprehensive, it is a blooming flower for your company to show that your company is structured in such a way that it alone, that company alone, can be held accountable for its own credit and receive credit. So it's no one single thing. You would need to have your business established. And then there's another thing. It's no, every business is different. Like it could be two people that both own an auto mechanic shop. They both started the same year. Their needs on how they position themselves to get corporate credit could vary greatly. So that's one thing I just want people to understand, is that building corporate credit isn't a linear process like how you're taught to set up your personal credit. Like when you turn 18, get a credit card and do this and do that. It's not, it doesn't function quite like that. Have your paperwork in order, run your business like a business. I tell my coaching clients all the time, think, what would Amazon do? What would Uber do? What would Walmart do? Think of your business in a larger scale, and plan ahead. And then we can show you additional steps from there. But there is no official list of paperwork.
Okay. So you hear it. There is no official paperwork. What about, how long does it take to build corporate credit? Now, I know, in some cases with people who have an interest or have gotten a couple of the net 30s, some of the basics. What is a good amount when you are going for some of the higher, for the other corporate credit companies or cards applying for that?
Again, like I said in the first, with the first question, corporate credit and the extent of corporate credit varies from organization to organization. A company, if you have an EIN and your company is in good standing with the state that it's registered in, you can get credit tonight. Like literally, you can get some forms of credit assigned to that business today, right now. We could do that. But it depends on the strategy, the plan, the forecasting for that company, how you would want to position your company in order to get access to credit for your business. Because I try to stay away from terms like, the high-end trade lines and things of that nature. Because one thing that blew my mind, like I talked about that 20-year plan that I had back in 2014 when I felt defeated and I decided to shift my life and my purpose and be more intentional. To me, $100,000 on a credit card was unbelievable at that time. You could not make me believe that you could get six figures on a plastic anything, like that to me was unbelievable. But now that is something that is very common for me. So it varies on, because $5,000 to, someone who owns a t-shirt line who is struggling to pay their employees or to make the next shipment, that could be an enormous amount to them. And I don't want to just be dismissive of that. But the sky is the limit with corporate credit. But
so you said a person could have a business, of course, register with the state, all of those things in order, the bank account, all of that. And you said so what is the thing that they would need to do to then say, I'm finna go ahead and put my company's name on a card. I'm about to go and try to get this corporate credit.
That's the biggest no right there, because people are so in a hurry to get to corporate credit that they miss the point that I keep saying. The goal is to establish a strong and stable business. So before you now you can do some things simultaneously. I would recommend them having some level of consultation just to make sure, because you could do your business more harm than good by prematurely applying for things before you're ready. But it is far more important to make sure you have a company that looks free from fraud. Because one of the most important things, the number one job of entities that extend credit to businesses is to prevent fraud. The United States government does a great thing for its citizens. It allows those of us who are interested in businesses or who want to be a business owner, we can start a new business every day. Every 24 hours, you can apply for a new EIN. Those companies know that. And because you can just like a business can take on a life of its own. It can take on debt of its own. It can supply its own resources, and on and on and on. These entities that extend credit and financing and trade lines to companies, their number one job is to prevent fraud. So before we worry about getting a Staples card to swipe, make sure that you have a business plan, be it written or just sketched out on a piece of paper, a toilet paper at this point, but have a vision for your company. The number one thing that when I speak to people, and one of the main questions that I ask them that kind of lets me know, you're ready or you might need a little more work, is, hey, where do you plan to be 10 years from now? Who will your company serve 10 years from now? And if you don't have a clue who you'll be serving, that's an issue. You shouldn't really be applying for credit if you don't have a 10-year forecast, because you could, again, like I said, corporate credit is just as individual as you and I, our DNA. You know, we're both female, but our DNA, I'm sure our genetic code is very unique. And I have a twin brother. Our DNA is similar on some levels, you know, but there are some distinctions that make Quintaria exactly who I am, and my brother exactly who he is.
Now, do you have to have a big bank account? Do you have to have, now I know you said that certain things with your business needs to be established. Now, because part of it, I know, even from, my own past experience, a lot of folk, especially when they're starting, they use their personal funds, of course, to fund the business. That is why a lot of people tend to rush into trying to say, well, then I need to get the corporate credit so that, basically you can get out of your own personal finances.
Yeah.
What about?
And I understand that that's a painful place.
Yeah.
To be. But I would still redirect them to say, if you are really dipping into your personal finances, it's 9 times out of 10, it's because you don't have a strong enough, either two things. You don't have a strong enough business strategy that you're executing, or you're not doing a great job of articulating your value to your community. Most individuals think that businesses fail due to lack of revenue. And I can say, based on the statistics and the number of people that I have coached and businesses that I have consulted, 77% of businesses fail because their gift, talent, service, or product is not needed or wanted to the base of people that they're presenting it to. So, and that goes back to proper planning and research. So corporate credit, we can get you credit all day, every day, but it is far more important that you have a business strategy that I teach families how to build a legacy through business and real estate. We need sustainable businesses because that is one of the best ways to build a legacy, to gain capital in the United States, to have something to pass on to your children and your children's children. But I don't teach that just for this lottery type mentality of, like, look, we're gonna set you up like this so you can get a $50,000 credit card. If a $50,000 credit card will make your day for a temporary fix, quite frankly, I don't know if I should be showing you how to position yourself to get that anyway, because the goal of corporate credit is for you to leverage what you're offering to make your community, our world, a better, stronger, and sufficient place. So going back to your initial question, the key thing is to position your company in a way that, one, that the people who extend credit to companies know that you're not a flight risk, or you're not going to shut this business down today and open a new one tomorrow. And you do that by being a part of the Better, like registering your company with the Better Business Bureau, having a fax number, not using Gmail. It's a whole list of things that you can do to make sure that your company is positioned correctly. Because what happens, and a lot of my white glove clients, what has happened is they've been in business 4 or 5 years, let's say. The average is anywhere from 5 to 5 years or so. And they have gotten some levels of credit, but their company is red flagged. because it does not have a solid foundation. So now we've got to go back and build this strong foundation. And I will say this, and it's kind of counter to the whole premise of corporate credit, but 8 out of 10 of my clients, I have helped them find more money that they're leaving on the table before we even get to corporate credit. Working on their business strategy and structure and having them truly think and plan out and think of where they want to be, where they want their company 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
That oftentimes populates more revenue opportunities. And not that we don't pursue corporate credit options, but it isn't clamoring because your doors are about to close.
Yeah. No, the very, 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 very good information. Another one of the other questions that has come up, because they're messaging me over here. Of course, the big question. Talk a little bit about the Duns and Bradstreet. We know that's the granddaddy, right? We know they've been around for a minute. So when anybody think anything about having a business, it's about making sure that your business is that you put the information with the Duns and Bradstreet. Like I said again, beyond getting registered, beyond the EIN, beyond the bank account, and the getting it on there. Can you talk just a little bit about the Duns and Bradstreet and what does that really mean, and then go into just a little bit about what that scoring system is for the business credit versus the personal, because we know the personal could be as low as a 400 and as high as what 800, I think 900 now, right?
Yeah.
So we know that it operates a little bit different with the credit side. So talk a little bit about Duns and Bradstreet and the score.
Dun and Bradstreet, I nickname it the granddaddy of corporate credit. It was founded right after the Great Depression, once businesses started coming back on the scene after that huge financial collapse for the United States, and companies needed to know, like, hey, if we're lending and borrowing to these companies, who's keeping track of that? And that is where Dun and Bradstreet came. It is definitely important to be on Dun and Bradstreet's radar. However, they are not the end all be all. It is one of many. There are over 40 entities that report business credit. Business credit is not like personal credit, where you have the federal laws and entities that monitor it and set all these rules and regulations. Corporate credit is the wild, wild west. So that is why it is important for you to make sure that your business is set up in such a way that it almost tells the story to the potential creditor that you are that your company is a worthy company. So Dun and Bradstreet is the granddad of corporate credit. They kind of started that out, having a Duns number, and it ranges from 0 to 100. Around 75 would be considered good credit. It would be like maybe a 700 or 725 if you compare it to personal credit. However, one of the things that I coach and I really want people to understand, and it goes back to strengthening and having a strategic plan for your business. You can have 100 Dun and Bradstreet score, but if all you have is net 30s, Uline accounts, and all we see is that you bought styrofoam cups and reams of paper, the likelihood that you're going to get $100,000 lent to you, or to be able to lease a new Escalade like I've done like for the last 6 years or so, like the likelihood that you're going to get that is rare. First and foremost, car companies that lease or allow you to put cars under your business, most of them don't even use Dun and Bradstreet. So again, you have this linear thought process of, okay, I got to get in and I can set up Dun and Bradstreet and I'm good to go. Corporate credit does not really work like that. Do you need to position your company so that you're on Dun and Bradstreet's radar? Of course, because there are tons of creditors who do look at your Dun and Bradstreet. There are tons of companies that only use your Dun and Bradstreet, but that is not the end all be all. But before I give any specific instructions, You as the CEO, you as the manager, you as the president or vice president of this company needs to be able to articulate what your goals are, and then we can tell you what platforms are best. I typically recommend that you make sure that your information is reporting and correct on at least 3 to 4 corporate credit bureaus, that companies that report, reporting agencies for business credit. And Dun Bradstreet would be one of them.
Wonderful, because I know that that is something, because a lot of people use it, a lot of people know it. Uh, what about your thoughts on the same way with they asked the question about theft management, and
Mm,
how do you report something like that with the corporate credit?
mm. Now, this is the beautiful thing about corporate credit. Why I love corporate credit so much, how corporate credit saved my life, is because, again, there are no rules in corporate credit. You are literally entering the Shark Tank. So if you enter a Shark Tank and they sense blood in the water, you will be annihilated, period. It
Mm.
is up to you to patch up your wounds, to get your to make sure that you're healthy before you dive into the deep end. And I've seen so many people jump into this Shark Tank of corporate credit and get mauled up, and then they're looking like, hold on, no one, like, they didn't send me a notice. Corporate credit doesn't owe you that, baby. You are a
Mm.
business owner. It is your responsibility. Quite frankly, that's another thing that's going back to the structure of your company, making sure that your legal records, making sure that there are no lawsuits on you in the world, in the corporate industry. And this goes beyond just corporate credit. This is being a business owner. No one is going to send you a notice about any flags or any incorrect information about your business. You are no longer a consumer on this
Mm.
side of the fence,
And
period.
to that privacy, I know in one of our other conversations you spoke to about the privacy policy
You
that.
don't have privacy. And this is something that years ago, I had a couple clients that went back and forth. Anyone can pull a business's business credit. Anyone. Now, the strange thing is, most people don't, because most people that we encounter are consumers. So they don't even know, one, that they have those liberties. But because
Mm.
we are the risk takers. And with that risk, we're providing services, products, goods, jobs, and so on and so on. We're providing commodities and things of that nature to the greater public. It is the United States government's position that anyone who puts themselves in a position to say, "Hey, government, I want to provide to your citizens." The citizens have the right to complain about you, to follow up on you, to check your credit, to like it. So yeah, like the so as you can probably see from my rhetoric and how I go back to the number one thing that I have to help business owners to understand before we apply for any credit is structuring your business and operating from the mindset
Yeah.
a CEO. You don't have any protections, which is it's a good thing, because just like you're jumping into how I talked about this Shark Tank, the sky's the freaking limit as well on the flip side,
Right.
because just like there are no rules and no one has to give you a courtesy call if little Johnny put filed a judgment on you. Like, there are no rules to your innovation. There are no rules to how you can position yourself. There are no rules to the new strategies you can come up with. There are no rules in this corporate space. So get up out of this. And I'm not even going to say it that way. I'm going to say it like this. And this is another very real conversation I have to have with lots of business owners. Many entrepreneurs are creatives, but they're not truly innovative and CEOs.
Mhm.
I have had, I would say, at least 40 to 50% of the individuals that I've coached, when I do speaking engagements across the globe, the people that I come in, shaking hands and kissing babies and talking to people, most people put the CEO title beyond their name, but the CEO is the visionary. Most people, that is not the correct place for them. I had a true story. I was working with a general contractor a few years ago. Brilliant man, could build anything, could, remodel a home, a commercial building. I mean, he was the bomb with that. But CEO initiatives, he sucked. However, he had himself as the CEO of this company. And I told him, I said, look, if you really want this company to thrive, if you really want this company to grow, hire a CEO. True, another true story. I have another coaching client. They're running a higher end tech management firm. The same thing. Your personality type, and that's one thing that we do with my coaching clients is we take personality assessments. Your personality type is completely polar than that of a CEO. Like you're more of an analysis, like you're an analyst. Like why take your super cape off, because I believe we all have a superpower. Why set your superpower aside to do something that you're mediocre at? Hire a CEO. Like it's still your vision, it's still your brand. I tell people all the time, you can put me down as the janitor, the cook, the engineer. You can put me down as whatever, as long as the businesses that I am involved in have strategy, they have a clear target audience, and we are able to articulate our goal and we add value to the community. I'm all in. And
Good. We got a question.
credit
We got a
will align
question.
from
We got
that.
a question. Look.
Okay,
They look.
I'm
We have
ready for
5 questions.
it.
This question is: when developing corporate credit, do I have to use my name as an owner, or can I use the name of my company only?
Got you. I would, that's kind of a two-part answer. There are some applications and some things that you apply for that you will have to use your name, not your social. And I always going back to what I said earlier, what would Amazon do? If Amazon needs to open a new facility, they need to open a new warehouse in California. They don't ask their manager of the current building, hey, could you put your social down so we can leverage it to get, this building here that we see? They don't even ask the CEO, hey, could you put your social on this so that we can buy these 20 acres that are coming up for sale around the block? Amazon uses the strength of Amazon. However, again, because the goal, the first priority of those who extend credit to businesses is to make sure that they are preventing fraud, you may be asked for your name or for a real human who is involved with it. So I just want to be very clear on that. Putting your name down, I've gotten vehicles under my businesses and rental leases and things of that nature, and they need to know my name, who I am, but my personal information is not connected at all. As I'm a manager of the company, I'm a vice president of the company or whatever, but my business entity takes its own responsibility. And for me, because my goal is to teach us how to build a legacy, I don't want my personal legacy impeded on based on the strength or success or failures of a business, especially when businesses were designed to stand on their own. I default to that's a personal choice as well too for a business owner, because I used to be very adamant about do not put your social security number down to business owners. For me, that is a strong belief that I have, but I have just lived enough and worked with enough individuals that my goal is to educate you and know what you can do.
Yeah.
It is your responsibility. And perhaps, like I said, talking about that business strategy, understanding what the goals are for your business. For a business owner, it may make sense to do that. But do you have to? No, you do not have to leverage yourself personally. Again, what would Amazon do? What would Walmart do?
Yeah.
When Walmart needs a new building, they're not asking their regional manager for his social security number to expand that. They may need someone's name to make sure that they're dealing with a human, but giving my name as an employee of this company is different from leveraging my personal credit, my personal assets, my personal home. That is very different from leveraging that for a company that, by the laws of this great United States, allows that company to stand on its own and be its own entity.
Thank you. Again, if you are just jumping on, I am Shawanna Kennedy, your self-first strategist and mental wellness advocate. And today, I'm excited to be speaking with Quintaria Brunson, who is a corporate credit coach. And we have been having an in-depth conversation, getting some answers around some of the burning questions that individuals that have, whether they're in business or thinking about being in business. Now, one of the other questions that I see here, it says, how big does the company have to be in order to even establish corporate credit? I.e., how many, not only maybe probably the longevity of the years, I believe one of your explanations you said they could have just started and depending on what their situation is, they can get immediate credit, but do they
You
have to
can.
have like go into some more
How
specifics?
big? How many numbers are in an EIN? I think 9. You have to be as big as an EIN. If
Okay.
you have an EIN,
Hmm.
your company can have access to just as much corporate credit as any other company. Now,
Okay.
that does not mean that you won't have to, again, have clear strategy, marketing. Like when someone goes to look up your company to determine if they're going to lend to you,
Right.
um, I wouldn't I wouldn't necessarily, like say like, hey, it's just me. My name's John, and I am the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. And I don't, however, if your company appears to be a robust company that can handle whatever solution you're offering to the community, business credit will be awarded to you. So we are, and on the last time that we did a call, or the most recent time that we had one of the questions was, like, what are the limits to corporate credit? And I said it then and I'll say it now. It's you.
Yeah.
You as the business owner you are the only limit. You are the only limitation, if there are any, to how far and how much you can achieve with corporate credit. Period, point blank. You can structure corporate credit to benefit you immensely, or you can move quickly and with a little careless, and it can be something that, quite frankly, will have you hitting Control Alt Delete and having to start all over again. So there's no limit to corporate credit, because there's no limit to the possibilities. Again, that same open forum is available on both sides of the coin.
Okay. So now I have a question too. I'm trying to see and how they posed it. For example, when you go and you fill out and you get your EIN, or in some cases, how some people they operate under the Social Security number. How does a case like that for someone who has not taken the time where they choose to operate under that Social Security number as it relates to the corporate credit? What does that?
Well, if you're using a social, that's not corporate credit. So let's be clear. Sole proprietors are not eligible for corporate credit. You must have an LLC or a corporation, period.
All right, you
Yeah.
heard it. Using the Social Security number is a no-no. Not if you're trying to go this way. So that, yeah, no, that was one of those questions that was there. Like I said, I have a couple things going over here.
Because again, if you're using your social security number, that is consumer credit. Now, there could be a blend of it, like there's a hybrid way, because again,
Mhm.
like I said, it's kind of the wild, wild west, but corporate credit is extended to LLCs and corporations, period.
Okay, now you heard it. Again, let me make sure. Um, as we prepare to wrap up, and again, we've had a couple of in-depth conversations, and one of which is actually available even on audio over on the Self First on Self First movement over on the YouTube page. It's an audio conversation where we had other individuals to jump in to ask and pose some of their questions. Where if perhaps something was not done tonight, because as you see, you already know she's a corporate credit coach. Therefore, yes, she does have a business. So we want to make sure that you do know how to reach her, right? And of course, I would love it if you did extend that you let her know, let her know how did you find her? You found her by by tuning in and checking out what was happening here on Self First. So I appreciate everybody who took the time, who paused for the cause to actually come in tonight to be a part of tonight's show. So just in case you want to know how to reach her, there is her information right there. It's legacy underscore by Quintaria. Legacy underscore by Quintaria. Quintaria, I really appreciate you sharing with us and being vulnerable and giving us a little bit of your personal side, and then even, coming away to pause for the cause to help answer some of the questions from uh, whether a person has been in business a year one, month one, or even 5 years, because we know with different things, and especially when life, had a lot of people on hold for almost 2 years, and businesses was doing the whole this outside of them just regularly doing all of this, and then you add a pandemic into the mix to answer some of those questions. As you can see, she's definitely uh, bold upfront about the responses in which that you will get by asking and posing some questions. So don't be shy. Make sure you connect with this young lady and get your corporate questions answered, and see
Yeah.
if it's something that she can do, to even if you are established, that she maybe can have you think about some things strategically to even help take you and your business even higher.
Well, that is how I inevitably jumped off the cliff and stopped, because for years, like 4 years, I was working that 9 to 5, and and in the midnight with my midnight oil, like in the wee hours of the night, building my businesses. But what made me take that leap is I was making millions for companies, being, doing their consulting,
Mhm.
strategizing, building their programs up, doing all of these things to strengthen companies that at the end of the year, I would get a pat on the back and a 3% increase. And
Mhm.
I literally, like completed audits. My background is in accounting. So, like, but I would be coming up with these dynamic programs for corporations and things of that nature. Some of this is how I even learned many of the strategies that I teach now, and how I got the exposure to that. But the number one thing I want people to leave with is move and operate like you are the owner of your company. Your idea, your gift, your service is needed in your community. We need whatever product you want to put in the community. So it is your responsibility to think of who you should serve, where we are, the individuals that you are looking to serve, and to build a dynamic product that can reach us. And in reaching us and serving us, you will do your due diligence along the way so that you can have access to corporate credit. So corporate credit is an accessory. Like I love like fashion, and I actually am the owner of a fashion week. But when I think of getting dressed, I don't start with the shoes necessarily, or I don't start with like the earrings. Like I start with like, I think I want to wear that beautiful blue dress, and then that is the base. So that's your core, that's your product. Corporate credit is just some amazing diamond earrings that's going to make that blue dress pop. Some bomb, red bottom heels that's going to make that blue dress sit even more stellar than it looked alone. So corporate credit is the accessory that goes with a well-structured, highly identifiable business. And that is the goal. My name is Quintaria Brunson. It is my life's goal to help my tribe build a legacy through businesses and real estate. And I hope that I've given you some motivation tonight. I hope that I've given you some core tips tonight. But most importantly, I hope that I have lit a fire or started a desire in you to find out more on how you can take your business to the next level and use corporate credit along the way to get there.
Oh my goodness, my goodness. Yes. So what you have heard it here, you've seen her here. Make sure you connect with Quintaria. She is amazing. I'm super excited how God constantly surprise us and gives us certain things along the way to help us even be greater, right? And that is part of the reason why I do what I do and I get to do what I do just because I love and I care about people just like you. We thank you again for tuning in to Own Her Shift TV. I am Shawanna Kennedy, and I love and I get to do
Thank you
this.
so much
Yes,
for
thank
having
you
me
so
today.
much for being here. I'm
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
excited.
This
I'm
self
excited.
first, this has motivated me. That's like sharing, thinking back on where we came from. Like that is one thing that I pride myself on is remaining humble. So just thinking of that, like I'm about to go knock some new products out myself. I'm motivated just having this call with you today.
Yay. Thank you, everybody. Be sure if you're watching this even on hashtag replay, make sure you leave your comments, your questions, and we will make sure that she gets them because she will be peeking back at the comments to answer your questions and any questions that you see. But we appreciate you again. Be sure to share this out. Let's stay connected. More to come, more to come, more to come. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching.